I sense a disturbance in the Force. Welcome back, Padawans, to another episode of the Holocron Minute. And today, guys, we are going to be discussing Sarah Bond and her promotion inside of Xbox, because I am telling you, when I first heard about this, number one, nail on the head, because everything that they've done with Sarah Bond and everything that she has done seems like it's gearing up for this move, for this to happen, for her to eventually take the role that Phil Spencer was in as president and CEO of Xbox. Now, she's not the CEO of Xbox, but she is now the president of Xbox. So we're going to get into this article by The Verge here, and we're going to see where she is going next and what she's going to do and what kind of, what her duties are going to be in this new role. We're going to be jumping around this article a little bit because it is a little lengthy. I don't think we need to read the entire thing, but go ahead, go to theverge.com, check out the full article if you are wanting it. That I may put it in the description so that way you have easy access to it as well. All right, guys, but without further ado, let us get into this article here by Tom Warren. He writes, Microsoft reorgs its Xbox and marketing teams to prepare for an AI and gaming future. Microsoft is reorganizing its Xbox gaming and marketing leadership less than 2 weeks after acquiring Activision Blizzard. Microsoft is promoting Matt Booty to president of game content and studios, including the new responsibility of ZeniMax, and Sarah Bond to Xbox president, overseeing all Xbox platform and hardware work. On the marketing side, Chief Marketing Officer Chris Capicella is stepping down after 32 years at Microsoft. The Xbox changes means Booty will now lead an expanded organization inside of Microsoft Gaming that now includes ZeniMax and Bethesda. ZeniMax will continue, ZeniMax will continue to operate as a limited integration entity led by Jamie Leder, president and CEO, reporting to Matt, end quote, explains Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer in an internal memo obtained by The Verge. Bond will now take over the hardware and software platforms of Xbox. Quote, to manage the platform of today and build the platform of tomorrow, we are bringing together the teams that will make this possible, Spencer says. Quote again, Sarah Bond will lead this team as president of Xbox, bringing together devices, player and creator experiences, platform engineering, strategy, business planning, data and analytics, and business development, end quote. Bond has been a rising star inside of Xbox at Microsoft since joining in 2017, particularly behind the scenes of the recent acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Bond even appearing during the FTC versus Microsoft hearing to explain video games and the Xbox business to Judge Jacqueline Scott Corley. Bond will now be responsible for the future of Xbox, both in hardware and software, which may include a redesigned diskless Xbox Series X next year and a next-gen hybrid console in 2028. These Xbox leadership changes mean there will be more women in gaming leadership roles at Microsoft than men once Bobby Kotick, CEO of Activision Blizzard, departs at the end of 2023. All right, so that's pretty much all I want to get into here with this article, because again, I didn't want to touch on everything that this has to offer because there's a lot of reorganization that's happening at Microsoft right now. So I didn't want to touch on everybody else because I want to focus on Sarah Bond. I have been watching Sarah for the last 4 years as she's kind of come into her own on social media and just the different events that she does in the, when we see her talking about these different games that are coming to the platform and stuff like that. She has an energy and a drive that is very, very reminiscent and very similar to what we see from Phil Spencer. And the fact that Phil just continues to be, in the grand scheme of things, like if we're talking about CEOs of our gaming companies, Phil is like the best one, only because he seems more down to earth, and he seems, even though it might not be true, like he cares and like he gives a shit about the gamers, right? I know for a fact that my man plays games, like on the regular. You know what I mean? I honestly might be friends with him on Xbox, to be honest. His name is P3, if you haven't done that already. But he is adamantly on games. He's adamantly playing games. I see him logging on to like Fallout 76, on Starfield, obviously, on the new launches that come out. He is constantly playing different games. And yes, a part of his job is testing those out, but another part of it is just he is a gamer and he likes to play them. So that's really cool, and I think Sarah gives me that same vibe. You know what I mean? She feels like a gamer and at her heart, at the soul. You know what I mean? And she actually just made a tweet. If I can find it I might put it on the screen, but she made a post on Twitter about how her father was a huge WoW fan, and not even is a huge WoW, World of Warcraft fan. And it just like begs the question, not even begs, but it's like, okay, well, this is how you got your love for gaming, because your dad is a huge gamer as well. And look what you did with that love. You turned it into a legitimate career. And not only that, this is a black woman, all right? Like, obviously, as you can see, I'm a black man, right? I still am, so, but that means something, you know what I mean? And I've heard, you know, different things on social and whatnot, but the fact of the matter is, she's a black woman in a very, very high prestigious position at Microsoft or at Xbox. And there are going to be little girls that are the same skin complexion as her that are going to look at her and maybe never thought that that was something that was an opportunity for them. And that is going to be the first sign that, holy crap, I can do that. I can literally do that. Now, yes, there's going to be things that you have to do, but then you start to read her story and you start to read things that she's done in her life, and then you start to see, okay, this is the roadmap, this is the plan, this is how I achieve that goal, and how I use Sarah Bond as an inspiration and a drive. You know what I mean? And that is what's really intriguing for me. The fact that we're seeing this here, and that we're seeing more representation in these higher up positions at these gaming companies that, I mean, obviously we all love, because we're playing their games, we're buying their consoles, we're buying their product. So we should want to have all kinds of inclusivity here, and to see that we, you know, this list of their leadership here, I'm not even gonna lie to you, this leadership team that they have, and I would assume that these are like the highest of, you know, the top that you could be, she is the only person of color on this list. Like, I'm looking here, like, let me just make sure before I make that out. Like, no, and I will show this. I'm going to take a screenshot of this right now, because I am going to put this on here. It's legit. She is the only person of color on this list. I'm not saying that means anything, but my point in the matter is, look at the sea that she's in, and she's there too. That is going to be a big sign for this next generation, these younger kids. My daughter specifically, my sister, you know what I mean? I've got a sister who is 5 years old. 6 years old, Jesus. 6, my daughter's about to turn 4. Like, they are going to be growing up, and this is going to be the president of Xbox as they're coming up and when they're going through their formative years. That is very exciting for me, and that just flutters my heart. You know what I mean? And I think it's really awesome that not only that, but we're seeing on the gender side of things, women are taking the majority of these positions in these higher positions, especially after Bobby Kotick leaves. And that right there is exactly why I was looking forward to Xbox taking over ABK, because they needed to get that piece of shit Bobby Kotick out of there. He does not need to have any kind of platform, any space in the gaming industry ever again. And that's what's going to happen. He is going to go into his little hole, and I hope we don't ever have to hear from him again. But now you see, this is how it should be. Now, again, it should just be a whole women market? Of course not, right? But it should be equal rights for everybody. But obviously, as you can see from what Bobby's done, that's not been the case here. You know what I mean? He's played favoritism. He's done the gender game, and that's not all right, and that's not okay. And as soon as we get this deal going through, and as soon as he's out, all of that stuff's changing, and we're going to make it right and make it fair. That's what Microsoft is doing, and that's honestly, I feel like that's what everybody was talking about when we first heard about this deal of, okay, what is Microsoft going to do to fix the culture of ABK, the culture that Bobby Kotick has been festering for decades at this point. And this is the first sign right here. 2 weeks in, this is the first sign. They're taking this seriously, and they're going to get the job done. Now, Sarah she was the corporate vice president of, and I'm reading this, she was the corporate vice president of game creator experience and ecosystem. So that's why we saw her a lot on social medias and stuff. She's trying to bring people together, bring people into the ecosystem of Xbox, but also bring the community together as a whole and get behind these games that they're coming to their platform, or games that they just like as a whole. You know what I mean? And I am very excited to see what she can do and see what's up her sleeve as she goes into this new position, because Sarah Bond is a delight. You know, whenever you see her, she's always smiling. She's always just a very bubbly person, a bubbly personality. She talks about her kids all the time, and she seems like just an all-around good person, and that's the kind of person that I want running a gaming company that I invest in. You know what I mean? Like, Jim Ryan, listen, regardless of, I do think he's made some smart decisions and some smart moves with the PS4 generation and even the PS5 generation now. It's, you know, I believe that he has. And he's, you know, stepped on some rakes as well. Who hasn't? We're all human. But I can't say that Jim Ryan is anywhere close to Phil or Sarah Bond. I really can't, because again, he is a corporate. He is a suit, right? And he does his job well. I'm not saying that he doesn't do his job well, but the personality is not there. And Phil has this essence of him that just makes you want to be friends with him. And Sarah has that too. And I love that that's who we're putting up in leadership, because that's how it should be. You know what I mean? We shouldn't just have like a robot who is only focused on numbers here, because there are people who work under you, right? This is a people business. You are selling to people, you're working with people. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, everything's a people business, but you have to engage with your audience. You have to engage with your consumer base. If you do not, guess what? They're going to fall off, and they're going to go find other ecosystems to join and be a part of that are going to appreciate them the way they should. And I feel like Phil and the team over there at Xbox, they understand that aspect of it, of trying to incentivize you to be in their ecosystem, to love what they have to do and love what they're putting out. And it's just one thing, like seeing Sarah take this position and get promoted to this position, that tells me that, yes, everything that I've seen is accurate. She definitely does have not only the education to be able to do this, right, and the know-how to be able to do this, but she also has that personality that they obviously are looking for, because she's the replacement of Phil Spencer. So they needed somebody who could also fill that hole, that big hole that he did. And I'm telling you, Sarah Bond fills that and probably overfills that hole. So here we are, man. We're in a new era of Xbox, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see what she does, what Phil does in his new position, because now he's like head of gaming or Microsoft Gaming. Like, he's the CEO of Microsoft Gaming Division. So he is above all of them and kind of helping them out, you know, but on the bigger Microsoft level, as opposed to just being on the Xbox level, you know? So happy for him, even more happy for Sarah Bond here, and the future seems bright for Xbox, and I cannot wait to continue talking about it and continue to see where they go from here. But guys, that's all I've got for you tonight. As always, I have been your host, Jedi Master Ren, and I will see you next time in the halls of the Jedi Gaming Academy. May the Force be with you.